Great. Thank you. Yes, so welcome everyone for our meditation evening in Temple Byron. Yes. Good timing. You know, after a day like this with the rain, it's like the blessings coming from above. And tonight I felt like I want to share a very beautiful meditation, but a few words before the meditation, and then we will have a little bit of time after the meditation if there's any question or any comment or anything you want to share. Is everybody familiar with the concept of chakras, of energy centers? Or is there anybody here who has never heard of chakras? Okay. So I call it a concept because, how to say, it is kind of naming or labeling specific energy patterns, and then we make something out of it and we can locate it in the body, and then it appears that we can experience different energies more easily. So there's many wisdom systems that point towards energy centers, and so some wisdom systems say there are 3 chakras, some 7 chakras, some 14 chakras, some 108 chakras. So, and you can have a philosophical discussion about it. Who is right? Well, everybody is right. It's just kind of looking at different vibrational fields from a different point of view. Tonight we are using the traditional Indian system. The first chakra is the root center, which is in the perineal region, connected to the legs, connected in some wisdom systems to the sexual organs, also in some not. And then the first chakra is very connected to the body, the physical body, our vitality, our connection to the earth, our connection to the material side of life, and our sexuality, which is our main energy. This is sometimes easily overlooked, that our energy originates from sexual energy. It's the only energy we have. I would suggest every one of us sitting here is only here because your parents made love, in case you doubt that. So we come out of sexual energy. Now, forgive me, I forgot to say welcome to all the friends who are joining us tonight all around the world. We have like a Facebook Live recording. So there's friends from Sweden and friends from Norway and from Germany and from America and from many countries in the world that join the meditation. So when we meditate today, you will feel perhaps a deep connection, an invisible connection kind of all around the world, attuning into the same vibration. So first chakra, roots. Second chakra, usually located between the navel and the pubic bone, the lower belly, the emotional center, the center for what we call the inner child. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. And it is where all the senses are connected. And then the third chakra, the power center. Many of us feel tense here because many of us may be in stress sometimes. Is anybody stressed sometimes? Yeah. So when we are stressed, the first 3 centers actually fire, I would say, in unconsciousness. The first center fires the fear of survival, because we need to somehow survive in the physical body. And now with COVID-19, it is a global anxiety or fear. And then the second chakra in its unconsciousness is terribly afraid to be hurt, because as children, probably we all more or less have been hurt to a certain extent, and then afraid to re-experience similar situations as grown-ups. And the third center, the third chakra in unconsciousness, carries all the strategies of separation and of defense. So what is that? How does that express? It expresses through judgment. Does anybody judge us? We all do, no? What does judgment do? It separates us from the other. We compare. We learn that as children. Anybody comparing? It's terribly painful, isn't it? It kills you. Okay, judgment, comparison, competition. Is anybody competing? It's all a defense strategy to keep a sense of self that is actually not real. Forgive me, you will see that. So, comparison, competition, judgment, blame. That's a good one. Anybody blame somebody else for how you feel? Relationship people do that pretty much. You hurt me. It's because of you that I cannot live my life the way I want. That's not true. But it keeps the separation intact. It keeps the protection intact. No? So, whenever we are in survival, these first three chakras fire unconscious energies and repeat themselves. And if you look at the level of consciousness in the world, this is pretty much where most of us live, except in Byron Bay. And then in the positive, in the presence of the first, second and third chakra, there is this physical strength, the vital energy, the joy to be in the body, the joy to be a sensitive being that can flow and move with emotions and feelings, and the joy of being an individual in the power of your uniqueness. It's a very different power than power over others. And then further up, we come to the heart, and the heart is universally regarded as the place where we experience an aspect of love, of compassion, of space. And then the throat, which is the center for expression, for creativity. And the deepest creativity always happens from not knowing. And we were not educated about enjoying not knowing, because we should know. So there's a lot of hindrances in our expression through all the shoulds and should nots that cover our natural heart. And then when the throat is open, there's a huge creative energy coming through the throat. And then the third eye, which is usually connected with clarity and with clear seeing. But most of us don't have such a clear third eye. The moment we see something and we label it, we project our own thought on a thing. With a thing it's okay, but we do it with people too. Yeah? We see somebody and then we say, nice guy, strange, beautiful, and so on. We label everything that we see so that we can stay separate. Can you relate to that? You know, when you see a flower, the moment we think, what a beautiful lotus, we don't see the lotus anymore. We see our thought. But when the third eye gets clear, we simply see what is. Does that make sense? And then, so in the third eye we could say the awake third eye is what we call choiceless awareness. It's a huge space. And you may have heard perhaps the possibility that who we are is the background of any experience. We are never the experience. Just digest this for a moment. Don't believe it, check it out. Why can I say this? Because who we are is that which is aware of every experience. So if I'm aware of the body, I cannot be my body because I'm aware of it. If I'm aware of my thoughts, I cannot be my thoughts because I'm aware of it. If I'm aware of my emotions, I cannot be my emotions. I'm that which is aware. And so on. So if you investigate a little, the deeper you go, the more you actually dissolve as any form, as any structure. And when you, if you like, when you reach the center of your being, there is no center, there is just space. This is what the mind would call it. Is that too much, or I mean, it's kind of a it's kind of destroys everything you ever thought. So forgive me, but we have to be quick. No? So so now we're here, and then eventually, when we're here, we're kind of one with the whole universe. And if you look at it perhaps as a visual possibility, you could see yourself, in Zen they call it, as the hollow bamboo. Like the bamboo has a circumference, like we all have, through the body, through emotions, through power, through heart, through creativity, through seeing. That's all periphery. And the center is empty. Can you relate to that a little, or do you think you are full? So if we assume this is just a possibility, don't believe it, but eventually that's what you will find. If you inquire deeply, you will find at the core you do not exist as a form, as a color, as a substance, as a thing. And yet, if I ask you, do you exist? You will say yes. Of course, I am. But what is this I am? And meditation is the most easy and beautiful pathway to not park in any of the circumference of our personality. And there comes a moment or a day or a time in your life where you realize, wait a minute, I have never been a person. I've been always a presence in which the person appears and disappears. Can you follow me there? Or is that too much? I know it's already quite deep, no? But we're here. We need to wake up. No? So when we share the meditation today, I'm saying a few words about the chakras so that you can explore in your meditation. And we use one sense in the chakra meditation, which is the auditory sense. And at the same time, we use the throat chakra. And because we make sounds, the meditation is called Chakra Sounds. I will explain the meditation in a moment. So what about sound? This is very important for us to understand. Perhaps you have heard, some people have such a strong and unique vibration in their voice that they can shatter glass. Have you heard of that? Yeah. Well, in a way, there's a similar analogy. If we use our voice, and you're going to use your voice quite a bit, we are actually shattering belief systems that we have created an identity from. So beliefs are in the throat, identity is made here, and both is a construct that we needed to create in growing up and in functioning in the world and having the right profession and so on. But that's not who you are. It gets very difficult, for example, if you're a lawyer and you believe you are... Is there a lawyer here? You used to be a lawyer, Greg. Sorry. Take a breath. Yeah. Now it gets very, very crazy if... Can I use it as an example, even if it's just playing? It gets very crazy if Greg has a lover, and in the evening, after his practice, he continues to be a lawyer and tells his woman what is right, what is wrong, and where she can be punished, and where, the woman will escape. Because the woman doesn't want a lawyer in the bed, she wants a lover. But now Greg has become a lover, so that's why he forgot to be a lawyer. Yeah. And sometimes you may notice you bring your personality into the realm where your person is not needed, where love is needed. And usually the woman picks it up much quicker than the man. Come on. Are you a footballer? You're looking at footies. And I'm sitting here and you're not looking at me. So there's an identification with some people running after a ball. And that identification doesn't fit into the poor woman that sits by the side and is terribly bored by people running after a ball, for example. So why do I say this? The chakra sound meditation can help us to gently disrupt any limiting belief that is ready to kind of create, open into space, open into sound. And when we make sound through every single chakra, we're actually loosening the tightness of our identifications. And the more relaxed we are, the less we are tense about looking for the next better moment, which most people live in. Yeah? Many people just are never here. They are looking, what will the next moment bring? And the next moment never comes. And then you tell them, be present, and they don't know what you mean. Well, I'm here. But what about later? No? So in the meditation, it just gently brings you more and more into the presence. And you will find that presence is, in a way, another name for awareness, or another name for love, or another name for space. And when we go through all the chakras, it is also like an harmonizing, because everything in nature tends to move back into balance and harmony if we allow it, if there's space for it. So when we do the chakra sound meditation, we will go with the music. I play some music, and the music for a while stays in one vibration, and we start with the sound in the first chakra, like oh, like a deep sound. And then the higher we go, the more the sound gets higher, and you just play with it inside. You will find the right vibration until when we come to the crown, it's maybe something like ooh. You have to see where it takes you. No? And then we go down again a little bit faster. Then comes a little break, and in the break we fall into the empty center. If you like to use your imagination, you can say your internal inner channel is like an empty channel, like a hollow bamboo, and you fall into that emptiness or silence. That's silence behind the sounds. And then we do it one more time. We go through through all the chakras and down again, and then we fall back into the center again. And the third time we go through all the chakras and then down again, and then we just sit for a little bit, maybe for 5-10 minutes, and just rest as that peace that emerges. And if you like, you can, because mind loves to put attention somewhere, so wherever you put your attention to is where your energy flows. So when you're sitting silently, allow your attention to be on that which is already empty inside, silent inside, peaceful inside, still inside. Okay? You have any questions to this before we start? So forget everything I said, because otherwise you try to figure out what does he mean. Forget it. We're just going to go into the experience. Okay? Like God is calling from every side. How do I do that? How do I swim? I cannot do anything. Okay. So, that was kind of the beginning bell. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Really, just a few deep conscious breaths. Mm-hmm. And then when the music starts, just play. It's very important that you actually use your own voice. It can be very soft, or it can be louder. It can be the mouth open or the mouth closed. Just play with your throat a little bit, that it loosens up. Mm-hmm. And bring your attention to the first chakra, to your roots, and just allow a sound that comes in tune with the music. You may want to open your mouth a little bit. Now make a sound into the second chakra, the lower belly. Now make a sound into the third chakra, the solar plexus area. Make a sound into the heart. Make a sound into the throat chakra. Now make a sound into the forehead center, the third eye. Make a sound into the crown, the top of the head. Slowly back to the third eye. and the throat. And the heart. And the solar plexus. And the second chakra, lower belly. And the root center, first chakra. Drop into the empty, silent center. Now start again making a sound in the first chakra, root center. Second chakra, lower belly. third chakra, solar plexus. Just keep following the music, trust yourself. Yes, a deep breath, maybe a little stretch back into the body. Just take a moment before we move into sharing or question, just to allow the space you're in to look through your eyes rather than going quickly back to the mind. Just this present moment where your eyes receive whatever they see, your ears receive whatever we hear, the raindrops, and all these sensory experiences are actually doors to presence, to now. Yes, and then let's open this a little bit. If you have anything that you want to share or ask or comment, you're very welcome. And we can also ask the friends around the world. Steve is here and he can read your comments. And if you have any questions or anything you would like to share, you can write it down and Steve will let us know. So please feel free if there's anything you would like to say.
While you're waiting for questions from overseas, Rahasya, the music, I found that to be so much more appealing to me than the Ananda Mandala one, which I find a little bit harsh at times, and I found that to be really gentle. It was nice. And fantastic that you organised the storm for 6:30.
Whoever organized that storm. Well, you know, the comparing mind, I mean, Ananda Mandala is a very different energy. It's like we're really moving energy, and here we are tuning into, and yes, we have different preferences. You know? while we are sitting here, don't wait for anything. Just be here. It's so precious. You know, the little concert on the roof, the thunder, the colors. What more? Yeah.
Comment.
A comment?
Chenda Katarina Koenig. He says, before I move deeper into here and now, my body and my mind wants to move to be not so disturbing anymore.
That's beautiful, because when we are empty, there is nobody to be disturbed, isn't it? It can only be disturbed when there is somebody, when there's a thought, a belief, a structure, something to grasp. And somehow, maybe in the moment, most of us are just deeper than that, just in a space where everything just is, wonderfully as it is. And this moment is so glorious, isn't it? In the moment we don't create any resistance to it or any wanting of something else. We drop deeper and deeper into just this. For the mind, it's totally boring. For the being, it's, oh yes, finally, here. Yes.
One question. I found a couple of times during the meditation I had like an intense feeling in different parts of my body, either on the neck or my nose. I was wondering what
there are many ways to respond to this from the space we're in right now. Basically, these are sensory experiences that arise through the space of the meditation. And the mind loves to go to the sensory experience and derive a meaning out of it. And maybe it has a meaning, but maybe there is no meaning. Maybe it is just what appears, because through the meditation there is a certain space, and as the space opens, things that were hidden inside come to the surface. So very often, for those of you who meditate a little bit more, you may go through many even physical sensations or experiences, or you may suddenly become aware of tensions that you never knew were there, or you feel utterly kind of, I think the throat is a good one. I can give you a little example about the throat chakra. For many years I lived in Pune for 10 years with Osho, and Osho was talking, giving discourse every evening, and there was about 3,000 people, and we were not allowed to make any sound. And you can imagine, he destroyed most of our habitual beliefs and challenged them in his talk. And when our belief is challenged, this is perhaps one explanation, then our throat responds. And the best response is to throw out what we don't want to hear. So many people, especially the new people, they got so irritated by what Osho was saying, and they needed to cough. And when you have to cough, you have to leave the hall. So we were struggling with the sensations in the throat, because he challenged everything that we thought is so clearly set as our own beliefs. And and if you have listened a little bit to Osho, and there's quite a few different ways of seeing the whole reality, which disrupts our false sense of security that we have built through our ego structure, through creating an identity that is very, very fragile and not real. So perhaps, through the sound making, and we use the throat, many energies kind of get activated and maybe even become physically experiencing. But what is most important, what I would suggest, especially I'm seeing there's quite a few old meditators here, and there may be many sensations that come. The question here is, where's your attention? Usually the attention gets pulled by the sensation. And this is really, a very beautiful tantric exploration, also when you make love, or when you're in a very beautiful, positive sensory experience, to shift gently your attention from the experience, from that which seems to have a form or a color or a feeling, to that in which it happens, to you, to that which is aware. So a good question would be for you, Raj, I can only describe this because there is something in me that is aware of it, that is witnessing this. And that's who you are. You're the witness, you're never the content. And the more we gently bring our attention into that which is aware, the whole grip of our, especially identified personality loosens, because everything that has form, that has expression, that has feeling, that has content keeps changing. Can never hold on to one thing. What doesn't change? That which is aware. Is that a thing? No. Does it have a form? No. Does it have a beginning, an end? No. Who am I? What is this? Most important question. So enjoy whatever sensation, but stay the witness. But the witness is not separate, it's within the experience. Otherwise you couldn't talk about it. Does that make sense? Can you follow that? So it's kind of a return from, in day-to-day life, our energy is always moving out. You can play with that. If you move out to the sound of the rain, it's pleasant. It's like, rain. So the mind labels, interprets, says it's nice, it's beautiful, it's cozy, whatever. Now when we turn the attention around, I can only experience this because the true I is the space in which it happens. If you realize that, things get very strange, because suddenly there's no rain outside. It's raining within you. Yeah? There is nothing outside. Everything is appearing in that which is aware. And when that is not just a mental concept, but you realize it, then you look around and everybody is you. And that's the end of struggle, of conflict, of all that nonsense that happens in the world. Is that too much? So then the oneness that we speak about is not a concept, it's an absolute direct reality. And that gives the possibility for love, because you could take the word awareness. It's the same formless space that other people call love. It's a very different kind of love than than the romantic push-pull. And when love meets love, there's more love. Now, we're coming close to the end for tonight, but I have a few announcements. In Sweden, there's a beautiful group of friends that have created kind of some program with me, and there will be a program called Coming Home, which is 4 days, four evenings for Australia, which is during the day in Sweden. Actually don't know exactly when it starts, but I think it starts the weekend after the coming weekend, and it's an online course on Zoom, and it will be available. The link will be available on Facebook, because we are basically broadcasting this. So if that would be interesting for you, it's a much more deeper exploration into the nature of our being, and to come home there. And then also I have Friday evenings in my home. I have a satsang and meditation every Friday, if you like to join us there. And Temple Byron has a meditation every evening with beautiful teachers, and Greg takes care of that mainly. What is the next one?
This is officially our first live stream night at Byron Bay Meditation Centre, and if anyone in Europe or China wants to join us on those nights, we'd love them to be a part of it, and maybe you and I can have a conversation about that instead.
Yeah, very good.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the full question, Rahasya.
The question was, what is next week, Tuesday?
Next week, we'll probably have Paul Biddy here.
Paul
And
Biddy.
Paul has a different style to Rahasya. Do you want me to, are you okay, Steve? Paul has a different style to Rahasya, but you attended Paul's latest last gig here a few weeks ago, and what was your take on it? Were you happy with it?
Yeah, very happy. It's beautiful.
And so that'll be 6:30 next Tuesday, and if you and I can have a conversation about how we'd like to share that with anyone in Europe if they're interested.
Yes, so Tuesday evenings here in Temple Byron will be a regular program also. So we will give you the connection through Facebook or through a mail out. And then something that is very, very close to my heart. On the 19th of March, I'm starting a 1-week Art of Love and Intimacy retreat for couples, and we have one space left. So if you're a couple and you would like to go really deep into love and intimacy and actually discover a depth of being with your partner that is usually not so easy to achieve, or if you want to fall in love with each other freshly, you're very welcome to talk to me about that. It is for couples, so it's a most beautiful thing. If I could participate, I would. So if you want more information about that, talk to me when we complete here. Do you have any other?
The link to coming home.
Yeah.
Switch that just been posted into this live feed.
Okay, so the link for the Coming Home course, which is the online Zoom course, is on that Facebook streaming that we are recording right now. In the comments. So if you are on Facebook, you can go to my page or to the Temple Byron page and you will find it. Okay, so many possibilities.
Okay, thank you for tonight, Rahasya. It was just wonderful. It always is. If I can just remind people, I didn't watch you all come through the door. You really need to sign off the COVID book if you did not do so, and there's also a Dana tray there. I'm not going to give a lecture tonight on Dana, but I think you know that I'm really trying to keep this as a Dana event as best I can.
Dana means you give a little contribution so that Greg can pay the rent, or a big contribution. So thank you so much for joining us around the world, and thank you so much for joining us here in this wonderful place. And be well, remember who you are. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
We have till 8:30 to vacate the yurt, so we can all, if you need a cup of tea and a biscuit, you can do so.